We will be able to provide an archive of this in about 48 hours. We will post it to the LTEN website under the Partners Library page. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Ted Power of iCoach. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you, Christine. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to echo what Christine said in the beginning is if you have questions, please feel free to just ask them. I prefer this to be, almost a little bit more informal, so a good discussion. So I promise I'm not gonna PowerPoint you to death. I wanna go through a couple slides first, and then I can actually take you into the iCoach platform. All right. Before I do that though, I wanna ask you a question. If you could type this in, well, actually there's not too many people. You can type it in, your response in, or you can actually say it out loud if you'd like. What are some of your biggest pain points around coaching currently? And I know the world of coaching has changed dramatically given what's been going on with the pandemic.
So I'll give you one, Ted. It is the managers doing it as needed rather than on schedule.
Mm.
I've got one from Nicole. Now sales reps are virtual and can't co-travel with them.
Yep. Else, anything that you're finding a bit daunting or challenging during this time?
Yeah, I'm with Katie here. This is David. I would say, and this is an internal thing more than anything else, is that since I'm in a global role, I go from one area of the world and they're coaching on one set of competencies, and I go to another area and it's something entirely different. Like we can't seem to get alignment around what's important to drive results, and that's shocking to me. But anyway, it's something that we struggle with. I was just on a call just before this one on that very exact topic.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know, good news, bad news, but that's not unique. We see a lot of organizations faced with that as well. And like you said, from an internal perspective, as much as you can make that more consistent, and it's better all around. Plus, you can really kind of start to report on skill growth over time.
Right.
So yeah.
At an enterprise level, which is that's the holy grail, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And the other ones, managers doing it as needed, not on a consistent cadence. In some ways, that's both good and bad, right? So I think, these days, is if you can have more touch points with your people and engage them more often because we're living in more of a virtual world now, I think that's a positive thing. But also though, setting up guardrails around, what is sort of a natural cadence they should at the very minimum being applying and engaging their staff. And, the other comment around virtual and can't travel, I think, it's again, even more important to have tools that people can access. And I would say a few different tools to engage on an ongoing basis, whether it's virtual or whether, they're hopefully are meeting in person as well. So I'm just going to go through these quickly. I wanted to give some background about us, just in case some people don't know. So we've been working with life sciences now for over 20 years, and our primary focus has been in the realm of talent development and Salesforce effectiveness solutions. The platform, also called iCoach, was built specifically for life sciences sales organizations back in 2012. It obviously has grown a lot since then. And it actually has expanded beyond sales organizations. So, we have like medical liaison teams using it. We even have headquarter teams using it as well. And very excited to say that iCoach is now the leading platform in the industry. So we work with both very large global organizations to specialty companies and really everything in between. I think the thing, I was going to move on, but I think the thing that everybody, these companies have in common is really, making an investment in the development and growth of their people. So what is iCoach? $20 million question. So iCoach, think of everything coaching and development in one application. It's very highly flexible and configurable. So you can turn on or off any of the features within the system as you choose. It can be configured to meet your specific needs. It integrates with other platforms that you might be using, like CRMs, like Viva, Salesforce, as well as your learning management systems, because we really believe in bringing together coaching and training. Oddly enough, they have lived in separate buckets. And it has 3 core modules, coach, learn, and assess. So I'm just going to review mainly the coach module today, because that's really, if you think about iCoach, that's really the heart and soul of the system. It's important to note, and this may seem a little odd, but there are many ways to access the system. Now, we have obviously the ability to access it online. We do have native mobile applications, both iPad and smartphone, but we also have, like an Outlook plugin where you can go and you can actually open a coaching form in Outlook, and then it gets saved into iCoach. You can provide quick feedback in Outlook in your email, and it gets saved into iCoach as well. And we recently have launched an MS Teams integration because, given what's happened over the last year, most every organization now is on MS Teams. If they're not on Teams, they're on Slack, and we're coming out with an integration with that too. So some coaching highlights before I just jump in. Customizable coaching reports. This is really kind of table stakes. I think one of the things that is a best practice that we've seen over the last year, actually 2 years, is having some form of a shared coaching report. And some of our customers even have their reps initiate it and then put in information that, like, let's say on their objectives that they want to cover or on their performance before even the coaching session. And then obviously the manager would own sections that they're responsible for as well. You can have a traditional manager-driven approach where the manager opens it, the manager fills it out, and the manager submits it though. You can have different coaching reports for different purposes. So you might have trainers that go out in the field and coach reps. They can have their own form of a coaching report. You might have marketers, so really it's whatever you want, the system can provide. And then also it's important to make sure that it's linked to critical information. So things like sales metrics or competencies. You can even actually assign training right from a coaching form if you have it linked up. Let me ask a quick question to everybody. How many people have a shared coaching process currently? Meaning where the rep would own certain portions of it, or they even might initiate their own coaching.
We have a limited one at this point that we're implementing.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
We do it at UCB. We have the rep start the process.
And that's perfect. I think that's something if some people aren't considering, you might want to consider, because we talked about engagement being even more important now. And the more ownership and accountability people can have in their own coaching, the better.
Greg Adamson just commented that they don't have one.
Okay, so Greg, that might be something to consider in the future. So in iCoach, there are a number of tools just beyond the field coaching report. And so you can have things like ongoing quick feedback. And this can be where managers provide feedback anytime, anywhere. You even have the ability for the reps to request feedback. So just like a shared coaching report, you can build that muscle with the people who are being coached to pull feedback towards them. You really can establish a good, solid coaching culture. We also have seen that this tool in quick feedback is a great coach the coach tool. So we always talk about we need to coach our managers. Now you can, through iCoach, you can provide your managers with an ongoing stream of feedback, and that gets saved under their personal record, just like a coaching report. We've got some new video coaching features, both live that's not recorded and a role play video feature that is recorded right in the field coaching report. Coach the coach, in addition to quick feedback, I can show you another coach the coach feature, which is quite helpful. And then we have competency management. Competencies can pop up throughout the system. David, you had talked about consistency. I think it's important that competencies are not only just there for reference, but they're coached to. You can actually do assessments against, et cetera. And then development plans. So I'm going to get out of here. And while I do, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay. So let me show you the system. Now this is a demo environment. I have certain things turned on. There are some things that I don't have turned on because I didn't want it to be overwhelming. But iCoach, when you come into the system, you land on a home page. And the good thing is, regardless of what position you're in, whether you're a manager, a leader, a rep, this looks the same. The difference is the information here is specific to you as the logged in user in your role. So when I come in here, I can automatically see I'm logged in. And then what pops up are the competencies, let's say, for my position. I can click in here. I can look at all the detail behind it. Now, remember, you can coach against competencies, and I can show you that as well. You can even link training resources to specific competency dimensions where the person can actually go in and look at it or assign it to themselves. You can showcase your selling model if you have a different selling model or if it's separate from your competency model. And then I can see all of the historical information for me. So if I'm a manager, I see all the coaching that I've provided. This is a master list, so I can sort this list. I just have to move the little Zoom screen. I can sort this list any way I'd like. I can even initiate a coaching report right from here, and here automatically are my team members. If I were a rep, I would see all the coaching that I've received. Again, I'll show you what quick feedback is in a second, but the same master list on the home page, as well as a list of all of your action items. So I'm just going to go over here and, let's do some coaching. So I'm going to jump over here. There's a left-hand menu bar where you have the 3 modules as well as the ability to get 2 dashboards. I can see my team, and then there's a number of different things I can do. Now, I can show you an example actually of a shared coaching report. So I mentioned that. When I click on Antoine Coach, the coaching report that I should have visibility to pops up. If you have different therapeutic areas, they can have their own coaching report as well. As much as possible though, just like with competencies, the more universal your coaching form, the better, because it drives greater consistency. I'm just going to maximize this. So this is an example where the rep can initiate this coaching report. Now you have the ability to come in as a rep, and there's a couple sections that I can, let's say I'm the rep now, I can add comments to. So iCoach allows you to automatically populate sales data. And we know you can't coach to the number or shouldn't coach to the number, but it's a great temperature gauge. Are things going well? Are they not going well? That type of thing. I can actually, as the person being coached, can write some comments on my own performance as well as my manager. Another shared section that's common with our customers is the objective section. So individuals who are being coached can put in areas they would.
Multiple times. I have said that in every role.
Oops. Sorry about that.
No worries.
We have a couple questions if we want to pop in here.
Yeah, let me pause.
Yeah. How much administrative accessibility to customize the interface is available?
So you can customize it quite a bit, even as an administrator, if you'd like. We can do it for you. We typically do it for our customers because that's part of our service. So they'd rather have us do it than them do it. But you can have full access. There is a full administrative module where you can actually get to most anything in the system. You can take down existing competencies. You can put new ones up. You can have different things appear for different roles as well.
I had one more question. This one from David Fortenberry. Is iCoach GDPR compliant? And does iCoach have any presence in Germany?
So we do have a global presence, and we are in the process of working on and becoming fully GDPR compliant. Okay, so session objectives, et cetera. Let me kind of back up here though first. In this coaching report, not only is it a shared coaching report, but you also have the ability to say whether this was an in-person or virtual session, and this can be reported on. Now, some of our customers want different reports for field visits versus, let's say, distance coaching, and you can have that. The beauty of having it all together is, again, you can keep consistency with one form. They may not have to fill everything in if it's virtual, but it allows them to have the same form every time. And this is combined reporting. So you don't have to report on two different forms. Now we've seen session lengths obviously change quite a bit in 2020. It used to be, a day was the shortest. Now you have a half an hour, an hour and a half for virtual interactions. And then, with this particular form, a lot of the same sections that you're used to, we have come out with a new competency section where you can not only choose the dimension and it lays it out in a grid form. If you forget what that is, you can go in and you can see the details. And if you rate, it'll show you what was the last rating that you provided the person on this competency and what the date was. You can rate this time and write any questions. And then one of the things I think is the coolest is if you have it deep linked to your learning management system, or you can upload these into iCoach itself, based on the competency I choose, different training assets can pop up, and I, as the manager, can make an assignment right from here, set a due date, and then write notes as needed. So it really does bring together coaching and training, and it really focuses on needs-based training versus broad brush. Then, I'm not going to go through all these sections, but compliance, there's a dynamic, this is a dynamic section where if everything's going well, you can just say yes, but if it's not going well, you can either have questions pop up or you can have the manager write in comments, all the way down to the coaching acknowledgement section. And this section has taken on a little bit of a twist where not only, companies just want the person to say, hey, I've seen it. They want them to, give me 2 to 3 bullet points. What were your top 3 takeaways? And that allows, the manager and the person who's being coached to really make sure that they're aligned. And you can save it, and only the manager can finalize it. Quick feedback. I'll show you an example of quick feedback. So if I go out here and go to Antoine's feedback, I can open one. And it's really like the name suggests. It's free form. I can write positive feedback. I can, have constructive feedback. I can then allow Antoine to answer, which really drives a good two-way feedback dialogue. And like I said earlier, this then gets saved under the individual's record, just like a coaching report. Number of other features outside of quick feedback and coaching. You can assign action items. You can assign training if you're linked. You can even have a competency benchmark where the individual assesses themselves against the competencies and the manager assesses them. And then a report is produced and they can use it all year long. Other sections, learn, if you're using the learn section, just real quick, you can have learning assets pop up either in a catalog or you can have them featured. And iCoach serves as a fully functioning LMS as well. We have an assessment module if you want to use that, and that allows you to deploy surveys, assessments, certifications, all different types of assessments. And then we've got about 55 to 60 standard dashboards. This is obviously very critical to see not only what the activity is like, but what are people coaching to, and are people progressing in certain skill areas. So, ranging from, again, activity reports where you can see how many coaching interactions have been done for each person. You can even analyze competencies, what competencies are the most coached to. And if I were a manager, I could run this dashboard and see my team. If I were a VP of sales, I can actually sort this by role, by leader. I can even go down to the individual. When you click on an area, you can even see the running proficiency levels over time. So are proficiency levels going up? Are they going down? And the big ... here is what's going on with performance. Is performance going up as competency goes up, or, vice versa?
Ted, quick question. Is this accessible by iPads, iPhones, web page?
Yes, online through your browser, native iPad app, native smartphone app. And with the iPad, there's even offline functionality. So if you don't have connectivity, you can still input information into iCoach. And then when you have connectivity, then it will all sync up. You can even analyze free text fields. So any text field in your coaching report, it'll produce a tag cloud. What words are being used the most? They come up the bigger and bolder. And then you can click on it and you can see every instance of that word and actually go to the coaching report. And then there are just, so many other ones where you can have a lot of data produced in one report. Who was the coach? Who was the coachee? Was it quick feedback? Was it a coaching report? Was it acknowledged? And all of this is downloadable into Excel. So I'm going to take a pause there. Those are just some of the features. Hopefully I didn't go too deep in some of them. But, does anybody have any sort of outstanding questions that you would like to ask? No? I'd be happy to provide anybody with a more in-depth personalized demo for you and your team. Here is my contact information.
Great.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, wonderful. That was very informative, Ted. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And thank you everybody for attending today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we will have this archived on our website in about 48 hours, as I mentioned earlier. And, you can access it. Here's Ted's contact information with any additional questions that may come up. And, if for some reason you need to reach out to him in before 24 or 48 hours when we get it posted and can't find his info, feel free to reach out to any of the LTEN staff and we'll get you in contact with them. Anything else to close, Ted?
No, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, again. And reach out to me if you want to learn more.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was great. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, Christine.
Very nice job, Ted.
Thank you so much.